Well, Coach, I want to tell you thank you for taking the time and just let's talk a little bit about WSL and the season we had. It was definitely interesting, and we'll keep this as informal as possible and just be frank.
Sounds good.
All right. So I'm Coach Secret, as everybody knows, and I'm the head coach of the Pelicans. We've been together now probably over a year now, and I want to welcome Coach Jenkins.
So I'm Ralph Jenkins. This was my first season coaching in the WSL. I coached the WSL Bulls, and one of the boys on your team, Cody Turner, had told us, his grandpa told us about the summer league.
Right.
But we had some other things planned, and so we're going to miss a big chunk of the season. So I thought, well, maybe we'll catch it the next time around.
Right.
And then they let me know that there was a fall league, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And so when I contacted you,
right.
You said, well, if you coach, then your kid plays for free.
Yeah.
And I'm a notorious cheapskate. So I thought, okay, where do I sign up?
Right. No, I think this is the least we can do for the coaches who volunteer their time for our program. We couldn't do this without volunteers. And, just a big thanks to all of the volunteers that, help us out and get through the season. So, that's the least we can do. So, let's dive right into it, though.
Yeah.
World Sports League, Lakers winning the championship. To me, I want to just do a big congratulations to them.
They worked hard. They earned it.
Yeah, Coach Riggins and her group, man. And I have to be honest, and I guess I need to admit this. I had kind of overlooked them, to be honest with you. I just thought me and you were in a collision, to play for the championship. And I think that was the first mistake that I made because I didn't even plan for them. My whole thing is I was planning for the WSL Bulls, and this collision that we were on our, on the way to have, and so, I won't do that again.
Yeah, they were scrapped. Every game we played them, we had to at some point come from behind.
Yeah,
and it was like, okay, guys, we got to stop monkeying around. Let's get serious.
Right.
We got to get the ball in this guy's hand. We got to get it in that guy's hand. And,
right.
And we'd come back, but every game was like a dogfight.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is with them. They're scrappy. Yeah, I don't know what Coach
There's
Riggins,
no quit.
Yeah,
no quit.
They just keep coming.
Yeah.
Even, when we were up, I think my team kind of relaxed a little bit and just kind of thought we had it.
Yeah.
But I noticed that they just wasn't going to stop, man.
Yeah.
And you have to. And one of the things I think I've learned, and I know I've learned, is that we have to be able to close games.
Yes.
We got to close it up. You can do well for 3.5 quarters and, still lose the game. And so we just got to get better at closing games out. But again, a big congratulations to the Lakers, Coach Riggins, and everything that they did with World Sports League. Just phenomenal comeback. It really was.
It was.
I don't really, I think for one, those guys, I don't think they had ever won a championship. Someone had told me that this was their first championship, so I'm kind of happy for them guys to experience that feeling and all that. So that's great for them. Yeah. What's next on the agenda? Recap of the season, man. We came out of the gate, and I'm talking about the WSL Pelicans. We came out of the gate focused. I think we lost game 3. I think it was against you guys. I think it was game 3 we lost. And a big shout out to for all of the assistant coaches who helped me while I was out of town. But I knew at that point that we had to refocus after that because it was kind of what we needed. I'm kind of glad we got that. It's what we needed because we had been on such a cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just say it to you that way. Coming off an undefeated season, going into the next season, we were kind of on cruise control. And I think the losses kind of woke us up.
Yeah.
And so I think after that point, we kind of refocused and kind of just, took care of business the way we needed to. But I want to make sure that for me, it's not just about, wins and losses, is that the kids are actually getting better.
Yes.
And so that was some of the things that we focused on in practice and just some of the things we talked about. This is to take you to that next level. And so, those are the things that we were grinding in practice on. This is what we got to do to get better. This is what you work on, the things that you're not good at. Of course, you're good at certain things, but let's work on the things you're not good at. And so, and put that into theory while the game is going on. So, those are the things that when I'm looking back on the season, I'm happy about. Of course, I would have loved to win the championship. That's why we lace them up. That's why we go out there.
Yep.
Without the championship, I think I'm still proud of my kids. I'm still proud of what they've done. Yes, tough at the end, but we had a great season, man. We really did. And I think everybody knew when they had seen us on the schedule, they had to bring the A game. You can't just come and, with the WSL Pelicans, you're going to have to play. You're going to have to beat them, and that's what it is. And so we kind of raised that bar a little bit, and we get everybody's best game. We don't get the game where everybody relax and we just when they play the Pelicans, they have to play, and they know that. And so I think us raising the bar like the way we did is one thing that I, once kind of shed some light on the season. What you think about your Bulls?
So I had like six kids that I could count on, and then 4 that were like developmental. I mean, they played some, but they hadn't played like really competitive ball, and so this was a kind of a wake up call for them. And I run a serious practice. I expect kids to be there.
Yeah.
They said that last year they didn't run a lot of plays or anything. I like organization.
Me too.
I want kids to know what to do. We don't do much freestyle or ad-libbing. We have sets we run, and so I get frustrated when the kids get out on the court and I tell them, switch to our zone offense, and they're like,
right, what is that?
We've been practicing for 2 months. What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah.
Anyways, and so after like the first couple of weeks, those 5 or 6 kids were kind of carrying the team, but I started to realize I gotta get these other kids dialed in and get them stepping up, because you can't hide those kids. The league was too good.
Right.
Pelicans. I mean, every game we had that first go around was a tough game.
Yeah.
I mean, we barely beat the Thunder.
Yeah.
And so I had to get kids, and I had kids not coming to practice, and it was frustrating. And like one kid was complaining he didn't get to play much, but he was missed over half of practices. Yes. And so I put him on the floor, and you're trying to run an offense against a good zone defense, and one guy's not where he's supposed to be, and it's like you're playing 4-on-5. And so I started telling the kids, look, I said, you want more playing time? You want a bigger role on the team? I need you to be at practice.
Right.
Because you hurt the team when you're not learning what everyone else is doing.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I told, I think it was one of my other teams, the Little Pelicans, I told them, I said, guys, for me, I would rather you miss a game than miss practice. I said, for me, practice, this is what I love. I love to teach the game. And so, during the game, games are fun too, but you don't really get a chance to actually teach. When you make a mistake in practice, I can stop it and I can show you exactly what we're doing. During the game, you got to live with that mistake. And you got to get back down the court and just set up for the next play. We can't stop and, do those kind of things. So I tell the kids all the time, basketball camp and practice is what I really love to do in regards to coaching basketball. And so I would rather you miss a game than miss practice. And so I think that kind of drilled in their head. We didn't have a lot of kids who missed practice. If they did, I got phone calls ASAP like, hey, coach, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it, for whatever reason. I'll do extra laps, whatever I need to do for the next practice. And so that's the kind of buy-in that we need from the kids and the parents, because the kids don't drive. We gotta get the parents to buy in. You know,
Yep.
so once you get the parents to buy in, then you got, you know, you're both kind of working on making sure, you know, they get to practice. Then you don't have that problem.
Yeah.
You know, so that was one of the things that I tried to make sure and stress is that you have to come to the practice. You know, so.
Then once we started getting those a handful of kids that weren't coming, things started to progress. And you know, two of the kids that really progressed the most were the ones that never missed a practice.
Yeah.
And they were there thick and thin.
Yeah. There's a kid on your team, Sage.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I remember him coaching him. Probably I think he might have been 6th grade.
Oh, okay. The kids told me he'd been playing for a number of years.
And he's getting better. You know, he's one of those kids. When I first got him, he just was kind of raw to the game, didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
And I seen him grab a rebound in the Lakers game, and you know, put the ball back in. I'm like, man, that's Sage. That's the kid I remember. You know, so it's just good to see the progress, and that's why I love to see it. You know, when you got a kid don't really understand the game, you know, passing, picking and rolling, things that is kind of foreign to him. And, you know, a few seasons later, you see him doing exactly what you've been, that light comes on, that light bulb comes on. And it's just a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just one of the kids I thought about when you were talking about that.
Xavier was another one.
Xavier, yeah.
And those two never missed a practice.
Yeah.
They were at every one.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's funny. Next on the agenda,
you know, it's funny.
I'll let you go with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
The games were so competitive. I get my stomach turned into knots, you know, before the game, because I knew every game was tough. And you talked about the practices being, you know, so important.
Yeah.
Practices were fun. I agree.
Yeah.
And the games are like, ugh. Like, man.
Yeah.
Gotta get an Alka-Seltzer here.
Right.
They were just intense.
I think we want that.
Yeah.
We want it to be intense and very competitive. And but when you're on that sideline trying to figure it out, and you know, it's one thing for the parents to be, you know, analyzing the game from their vantage point, but it's another thing to be standing on that sideline with those kids, trying to figure out how do I, you know, win this basketball game. It's two different vantage points, man. And I tell anybody, whenever you're ready to trade seats with me, just let me know.
It's a lot easier to sit and watch it.
Just let me know, because it looks easy. And everybody's a coach when they're not coaching. Oh, you should do this. You should do that, this, that, and the other. As soon as you put them in that seat and the game is actually going on, it's a lot different.
It is.
Because you're managing not only, you know, the game, but you're managing personalities and things like that. So you got to kind of know, you know, what your kids are capable of doing. You know, you can't coach every kid the same. You know, one kid you can probably get on him real good. The next kid is not going to respond to that. You know, matter of fact, he'll go the other way on you. And so that was something I had to learn early on coaching, is that you can't coach every kid the same. So, we have a system that we run with the WSL Pelicans, but, you know, we can't coach every kid the same. So that's one of the things that I, you know, kind of stuck in my head. What are we moving to next?
Go-to players.
Oh, man. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I think every team has one. Let's talk about your go-to player.
I had, so I like players who understand what their role is. And
right.
Even if your game's not developed to the point that you're reliable, you know, for scoring, there's a role you can play that can, you know, add to the team. And so I think a couple players come to my mind. Cody Tidler sacrificed a lot of his individual scoring to be our primary ball handler. And to just set the tone for our offense and get people settled down and in place. And,
what do you think that what does that do for him to have to take on that role? Because normally, like you say, he probably would have played a different role on a different type of team. So what do you think that did for him?
he had to sacrifice a little bit, some of his scoring opportunities for him, and instead get guys involved and set them up for scoring opportunities.
Right.
Because if he just looked to go 1-on-4 and get his own points,
Right.
you know, he'd get his 20 points a game, but then we wouldn't be scoring much else.
Right. Right.
And so he did a really good job of getting us in our offense, getting guys to, even during practices when guys are like goofing up or being goofy and
Right.
not serious enough, he would show his displeasure to the guys, and he'd get them, come on guys, let's get serious. We gotta. And every time I, you know, say something to the team, he was always, yes, coach. Yes, coach.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
did you hear that? Yes, coach.
Yeah. Yeah. And you need that.
Yeah.
Every team needs that player. Hands down for us, Blaine. He was that guy for us.
Yeah, we focus a lot of attention getting the ball out of his hands,
Yeah.
and he could get through and
Yeah.
and then hit difficult shots with 2 or 3 guys trying to block it.
And the thing about
Tough
it is,
shots.
yeah, and he's been doing that now, man.
Yeah.
I started coaching him a while back. We had a little break between, and the next time I seen him, man, his game was just at another level. And he's that guy for the Pelicans who he just makes the right decision. You know, sometimes it may not be that he'll score a lot of points, but his assists will be high. You know, like he's broken the defense down enough to make sure that shot that we get. We always talk about easy shots in practice. I always tell them I hate hero ball.
Yeah.
We want easy shots.
Yeah.
Closer to the basket, your chances increase. As you step away from the basket, you know, your chances get harder.
Yeah.
So we always try to break a defense down and get easy baskets. And I always say, don't shy away from contact. Take the contact. Sometimes you got to go in there and get pushed around a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's just one of those guys, man, that, you know, he always makes the right decision. And there's other players on our team. Cody is another one. Turner, he's, you know, just a solid kid, understands basketball. My point guard, Steve, you know, a lot of times when we have to pull Blaine out, Steve would be the one who would take over. And Marquis was kind of our closer in a way, you know, on both ends, because he played defense, you know, he could shoot, you know, that kind of thing. So we, you know, people were saying, "Oh, the Pelicans, they're stacked." But to be honest with you, without Blaine, it's kind of like a cake without ice.
Yeah, he's the straw.
Yeah. You know, so we needed him to kind of, especially in Zach, you know, dominating down in the paint the way he does and going to the basket. But Blaine was the one that kind of like held the team to where we needed to be. So I knew it was going to be difficult in the championship. But even with Blaine out, being up by 10, we should have won that game. So to me, it was just, we didn't have that closer. We needed somebody to come in and just close the game up, make the right decisions, don't panic. And if I'm talking a go-to player, that's who it is for us. It was Blaine.
Yeah. Another player, and it was because of the Cody setting other guys up that other guys were able to shine. And another one in particular was my son Joey. He's someone who sort of struggles with his own confidence. And
he had some good games, though.
He did. He led us in scoring.
Yeah, he had some good games.
He had at least 2 threes in every game.
And,
and so with Cody, you know, giving up some scoring, we needed someone else to step up. And he did in a big way. And
that's good.
And especially in several games like the last time we played you guys got out to a big lead. We were struggling early, and then we kind of got our focus, and we came back. Remember, we lost by 1.
Yeah.
And it was down to, I think there was like the last second shot attempt or something.
It was.
and the ball was in Joey's hands, you know, everything was just set up right. But he came up big in a lot of our comebacks, hitting big threes, hitting, you know, getting offensive rebounds. And so it was fun to watch him.
Right.
I try to treat him like just another kid, but it was fun at the same time to watch him gain some confidence in himself.
Yeah.
And against really good competition.
Yes. Yeah. And your hope is that he can take that to the next level with him. You know, and just tell him, hey, this is about you getting better. Just keep getting better. Those moments, you can't get them back, but you can learn from them.
Yeah.
1 second left, 2 seconds left, last shot. You want to be in that moment. And even if it doesn't come out to be a positive outcome, you learn from it. And so I personally enjoyed all of the battles that I had this season. We had some battles.
I talked with my son Joey about what kind of dog, DAWG, what kind of dog do you bring to the game?
Right.
And it's funny. So Cody and Blake Chrisman are buddies. They 2 peas in a pod.
Right.
And so whenever we'd split up to scrimmage and practice, those 2 guys were always on the same team.
Okay.
Which meant Joey's then picking somebody else, but there's a talent drop off.
Right.
And so Joey started getting upset that he was always on this underdog team.
Right.
And that's kind of what brought out his dog was, okay, you're going to stack your team? Fine, I'm going to come get you.
Right, there you go.
And so the competitiveness within our team kind of helped bring that out. But this league was just, it was a blessing.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That was the plan to just each season try to increase the competitiveness, and get better. I think we got tested this season. First season we, kind of walked through a little bit, but like I was telling the Pelicans that, hey, we're winning these games by 2 and 3 points.
Yeah.
So it's not like 2 or 3 points. I mean, we make a mistake here, they get a rebound, we miss a shot, that game could go the other way. Easily. So let's not walk. Ultimately, you walk away with the W, whether it's 1 point, 3 points, whatever it is. But these games are going all the way down to the wire.
Yeah.
And so, as far as competitiveness, I'm excited about the league. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
I think I will.
All right. So we're back. I guess we can pick up talking about moments, that we would do differently after the season. It's just the season is over. I mean, I think we all can coach in hindsight.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Looking back at the Lakers game, and I have to keep kind of focusing on that one because that was the championship game. I don't know that what I could have did differently other than just make sure that we close out the game. And I guess you can do that in a number of ways. I know I called timeout and I looked at my guys and you look at that face they give you, kind of gauge where they are, in this process, and we're trying to close this game out. And they had this look that we were good. So it kind of made me feel like we were good. But when you call that timeout, they come to the huddle, and they have that worried look, then you get worried.
Yeah.
But when I called the timeout and we talked about it, they had that look like, Coach, we're good. And so to come out of that and turn the ball over 3 times, as the clock is winding down, Lakers did exactly what they were supposed to do. They capitalized every time. Every time we made a mistake, they went down and scored. That 10-point lead is slowly going down the other way. And so in hindsight, if I could do anything different, I don't know that I would have changed any plays or anything like that, but maybe had a better conversation with them, better motivating conversation with them, let them know we have got to stay focused. Turnovers is what we don't need. And, just be patient, work the clock, and let's finish this game. And so that's probably the only thing for me is thinking about that championship game, that I would have done differently. I don't know, but what you think, Coach?
So I touched on it a little earlier, and in that moment, that same kind of moment in our game where where's this game going to go, trying to gauge my team, I could see that some of my kids were mentally wearing down.
Yeah.
And the problem was they were the kids I was counting on to be my ball handlers.
Yeah.
And so but also we were having troubles at that point defending them, and they were getting open looks in the corners, and we were slow to rotate. And so one of my leaders on the floor, Blake Chrisman, during a timeout said, "Coach, I think we should switch to a 2-3."
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, I mean that
you said he was
statement
right,
has
huh?
haunted me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know, I think if I take one thing away from this season,
Mm-hmm.
two things. One is listen to your leaders on the floor. You know, don't discount them because they're a kid.
Yeah.
But in hindsight now, I thought, you know, what we were doing was no longer working. It worked earlier, but they had figured it out, and they were taking advantage of it. And a switch at that point probably would have had a big impact on the game. And
Yeah, you know, and part of that, Coach, we have to, again, Coach Riggins did a really, really good job with her team because, to be honest with you, Lim and the way he was breaking us down.
he's like a shark when he smells weakness.
It was
Oh,
like, and I like the way that he approaches it because it seems like he never got rattled.
Nope. No.
Like if he did, he didn't show it to us. Like, I don't know what he did in his huddle or whatever, but every time I seen him, he was approaching it the way you would want your player to approach it. And either he would pass to the corner and they would drop that three, or he would take it all the way to the basket, and it just wasn't. We just didn't have an answer for it at the like crucial points of the game. Now there was some times throughout the game we were able to get the ball out of his hands. He would have to pass it around. But man, it was just putting your players in the right position to be successful.
Yeah.
And so I have to tip my hat to her because, you know, Coach Riggins did an awesome job, man, just making it difficult to beat them.
And as the game went on, they got better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, all I can say to that is that, you know, congratulations to the ladies.
Yeah.
That's all I can say to that.
And I think one other kind of takeaway would be is from the beginning get more serious with the kids about practicing. I kind of, you know, I didn't get on parents or didn't get on the kids at first, but then one kid was complaining about not getting as much playing time, and so I went and counted up how many. I checked my text messages. How many practices did he miss?
Right.
And you know, out of 20 practices that we had up to that point, he'd been to less than half.
Oh wow!
And so, then that kind of led to some conversations with people,
right?
And things got better from there.
Yeah.
But the kids who progressed the most were the ones who came every week.
It's funny how practice, and I had a kid tell me, you know, the famous Allen Iverson line, practice.
Yeah, right.
But what do I do in the game? You know, his statement to me basically was saying, you know, I may not make all the practice, but I'm one of the best players, you know, when it comes to game time. But for me, if you are one of our best players, you should be in practice even. That's even more reason for you to come to practice.
Help the other
because
kids
exactly, they feed off of you when you when I broke it down to him like that and explained to him like that, he was like, "Oh, okay, coach, you know, this, that, and the other." So, no, man, I you know, I'm just a proponent of it. I think the way I do it is I address it at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So January 7th is when practice starts for season 3. I'm going to address it January 7th.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about playing time if you don't come to practice.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep.
We can't even have that conversation. If you're not here in practice, let's not even have a conversation about the fourth quarter, why you didn't get off the bench.
Yeah.
You know, why you didn't get in the third quarter, because you don't come to practice.
Yeah. You don't know what we're doing.
You don't even know what we're doing. And that's crucial. And this is a comp league, and I think people need to make sure that they understand this is a comp league. We have to win games. And so we have to put our kids in a situation, whether it be, running the same 2 or 3 kids in that second half, just to kind of make sure we stay at the same level or at least in a position to win.
Yeah.
Then that's what we have to do. And so it's a comp league. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, what I try to do is bring those other kids along because I don't want to wear out the same 2 or 3 kids. So the other kids, I try to bring them along as well. But if they're not up to speed and it's 5 minutes left and I'm down by 6 or 7 points, I'm looking down my bench at who I can trust.
Yeah. That's it, totally.
Yeah,
Who do I trust?
Who do I trust to put in this moment?
Yeah.
And if the kid who hasn't been coming to practice, I'm not going to trust him.
Yeah.
You don't even know what we're doing. So I think parents have to kind of understand our position as coaches on what we're trying to do. We're trying to run a system, and if they don't know what we're doing because they haven't been to practice, then that's what it is. So yeah, that's a toughie right there. Playoffs. Specific moment. Good or bad? Wow.
I think
What you got?
the playoffs would be, as the league grows and we get more teams,
Right.
the playoffs would be really fun.
Oh my gosh.
Lose once you're done.
Yeah. It was a one and done.
I started thinking, man, when we get 8 teams, we get more.
Yeah.
The playoffs are going to be really.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, what I would like, Coach. World Sports League is a new basketball league. We're trying to grow it. We're the only all year round league, which is something I'm proud of, and we'll have our challenges with it. But I think once we get over the hump, we'll be fine. But ultimately, I want the championship game to be a 3-game series. I don't want it to be a one and done. And so that's my ultimate goal, is to move into a 3-game series. That's 2 out of 3.
Boy, that's really intense.
Yeah. So that's my next step for the WSL. So once we get to that point, I think, and I may even throw a survey out just to kind of see how people feel about that.
Yeah.
For the
That's
next.
kind of cool.
You like that?
Yeah.
Just do a series. Let's do a 3-game series.
Well, because you can never account for the kind of officiating you get from one game to the next.
That's correct.
And
That's correct.
And so having a best 2 of 3 kind of equalizes any of these other factors, like a kid being out of town, or a kid getting hurt, maybe he tweaks his ankle 1 week and is slow.
You know what, Coach? I'm after talking about that right now. I want to announce that right now, that the high school bracket for the boys, we're going to a 3-game series. So you heard it here right now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to do that. Let's and I'll put it to a coaches vote. January 5th is the coaches meeting. Regardless to your agenda for next season, I want you to be in that meeting because I need you to stay attached to what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so let's put it to a vote for the high school boys bracket.
Sounds good.
I want to go to a 3-game series.
Which that kind of gives us another unique aspect of the basketball community.
And we'll do it that way. And that'll probably be the only bracket I do it for. But like I said, I'm going to put it to a vote, and we'll see what happens. So breaking news right here at World Sports League. What's next on the agenda? So we got
Coach strengths and weaknesses.
Ooh. What's some of your weaknesses, Coach? What do you think your weaknesses
I kind of came face to face with them. I get so wrapped up in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't stop to pay attention always, like, what's the other team doing on defense?
Right.
Like, I'll think back, like, what were they running? I don't even remember what zone. Were they man us? Were they zone us? So I need to, like, figure out
situations.
How do I pull myself out of the intensity a little bit so I can think and pay attention to what's going on. And I think I make better adjustments.
Man, that's going to be hard, Coach. Let me tell you, I've been doing this for a minute, and I'm just now turning that curve in the last few years to make the adjustments while the game is going.
Yeah.
We all can make the adjustments after the game.
Oh, yeah.
After the game, you figure out,
what I'm going to do next time.
I should have did this, I should have that. You get home, you're having dinner, you're thinking about, man, wait a minute, I should have did this, because something that haunts me, you talked about the 2-3 situation.
Mm-hmm.
But Blaine was sitting on the bench, he couldn't play. And he told me, he said, Coach, Cold Blue isn't working, And I ignored what he had said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I say, no, it's working. We're coming up too far. They need to drop back. And we just kept running Cold Blue. And now that I think about it, we probably should have switched to maybe a 1-3-1 or something like that.
Just change it up.
Just to change it up. And those are the things that I have to get better at. And it's like you say, not discounting your players that been in them trenches with you for the longest, because he kind of knows my mind and how I work because he's been with me so long.
Oh, yeah.
And so he knows I'm a little bit stubborn when it comes to certain things. I'm going to run it the way I feel we need to run it. But I think for a weakness of mine, I do need to just get better at trying to listen to some of the kids who are actually on the floor.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are actually out there doing it. And so, strengths, I don't worry about strengths so much, because anything that we do well, I always get the kids the praise for that, because it's one thing to have a good game plan, but they have to execute it.
Yeah.
So, I could be the best coach in the world, but if they don't do what the game plan is, and, they have to execute it. So as far as strengths go, I give that to my players. They deserve all the praise for that. Weaknesses I take. And here's my and I need to admit this. I've always told my team, 10 points or less, I'll take that loss. That's on me. 10 points or more, that's on you, because that's effort. You're not putting the effort in. But 10 points or less, I feel like I could have done something to figure out how to win that game. And so the championship game, it's bugging me. Like it's eating at me, Coach. Because we were right there, 10 points up, 3 minutes left. I have to finish coaching that game in a way to close it out. Yeah. So you can't make excuses. So what? Blaine wasn't there.
I feel exactly.
So what? It doesn't matter. We have to be able to finish those type of games. And so again, you have to tip your hat to the Lakers for not stopping, just continuing on to do what they needed to do. And I think we got too relaxed. We did. And so I got to get better at in-game situations and closing games out. And that's something that I want to work on. So that's definitely one of my weaknesses.
That's something that's funny. My wife doesn't come to the games, and she's come to games in the past where I've coached my son and stuff. And she's always like, "You yell so much." It was like embarrassing for her. But I'm not yelling because I'm angry. I just want to be heard. They're all across the floor. And so after this game, I asked my wife after the game against the Lakers, "So what'd you think?"
She was there.
Yeah, she goes, "You were quiet. That other coach was yelling." Coach Riggins.
Coach Riggins was on him this season. She was on him, man. I don't know. So I wasn't feeling well for the championship. I was a little bit under the weather, and my voice was gone.
Oh, okay.
Like I didn't have, like I'm yelling at people and they're laughing at me because, it's high pitched little squeaky voice.
Well, I'd rather lose a leg than lose my voice,
And it's the one day I needed to be able to talk to my kids.
Yeah.
And like I said, we have a good time in our practices and things like that. But that was just the one day that I wish I could have been my full self to take care of business. But it is what it is. Like I said, no excuses. Congratulations to Coach Riggins and the job she did with the Lakers, man. Great job. All right, and in closing, we just want to talk about the future.
Overall assessment.
Yeah, an overall assessment.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
This was fun. I always enjoyed playing. I enjoyed coaching.
Yeah.
I like studying the game.
Right.
I like it's like I like tinkering and figuring out like how to fix something.
Right.
And so like how to get the most out of this group and combinations of kids and what's their strengths and how can we accentuate that. And it was so much fun. And like you said, the week of practices were way more fun than the games were.
Exactly.
But it was a hard thing to take a season off. I just need to catch up on some work stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm already looking forward to the summer.
Gosh, that summer season, man. I can't wait.
I'm already preparing.
Yeah, the thing is that there is no other program in the summer.
Yeah.
So it'll be just us. So now you can start, preparing for that.
And that fall league, it kids are looking for something to do to get ready for basketball season.
So yeah, we're good.
And normally there's nothing there.
Yep.
And so I love the summer and the fall.
Yep.
And it gives kids that, and they have, there's spring leagues for the junior high
Right.
and the elementary stuff. That's really good and competitive.
Right.
But nothing for high school kids.
Nothing for high school kids. So that's one of the things that we're going to focus on. Is just making sure that we fill any gaps that are needed, so they have that opportunity. And that's all I want for World Sports League. There are some great leagues here in Anchorage.
Yeah.
But I just want to
fill
in any gaps that may exist, and give kids another option. Maybe they don't want to play in that league that particular season. Maybe they want to try something new.
Yeah.
I want World Sports League to be that other option. So kudos to all of the leagues that are here. We're just trying to say we're here too.
Yeah.
And so that's really what it is. And so for me, just an overall assessment of what we're doing, I'm excited. We're moving into season 3. I can't wait to get back on. We've only been out of it about a week or so now.
Right.
I'm scratching my head like,
what? No practice.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do right now. So I'm just waiting to get back at it. I'm already recruiting new kids to the program, and I need you guys' help with that. Let's just continue to keep the kids playing and just kind of go from there. And the future for me and coaching, I'm at number 9. A lot of people don't know that. I've been doing this for a little bit. But my Little Pelicans, shout out to them for winning the championship this season. We went last season and lost. And this season we actually got one. And so shout out to the Sky. This was their back-to-back championships. All 3 of the teams made it to the championship. We just couldn't pull it out. Kudos to the Aces. They put it on us when they needed to. Good game. But I'm trying to get to a certain point where I can turn this thing over to somebody else. And so I'm slowly getting there. So yeah. But I want to thank you and just for all your help. And just embracing the program, what we're trying to do. Any ideas that we can do to make the program better. My door is always open. Just day or night, just let me know. But for me, World Sports League, we're here to stay.
That's awesome.
I'm ready to do it. So thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.